Hi friends, once again I welcome you guys to the Make IT Simple YouTube channel. In my previous video, I explained about AWS Code Pipeline, which is a CICD tool with how to create a code pipeline through AWS console and also with the help of CDK. If you didn't go through that video, just go through it and come back to this video. I have given the video link in the description section. Moreover, I will give a short brief of code pipeline once again. AWS Code Pipeline is a fully managed continuous delivery service that helps you to automate your release pipelines for fast and reliable application and infrastructure updates. Every time there is a code change, Code Pipeline automates the build, test, and deploy phases of your release process. Basically, it's a CI/CD tool. This enables you to rapidly deliver features and updates. You can easily integrate AWS Code Pipeline with the third-party services such as GitHub or with your own custom plugin. With AWS Code Pipeline, you only pay for what you use. There is no upfront fees or long-term commitments. In this video, using custom source action in AWS Code Pipeline, we will see how to integrate AWS Code Pipeline with other third-party source control system. For example, we took GitLab as the other third-party source control system, and also we will be using event-driven architecture over here. Don't want to give much info about GitLab, as everyone tends to know about it, but anyway, we'll give a short intro about GitLab. GitLab is a web-based Git repository that provides free, open, and private repositories, issue following capabilities, and also like wikis. It is a complete DevOps platform that enables the professionals to perform all the tasks in a project, starting from project planning to source code management to monitoring and security, and many more features. Furthermore, it allows the teams to collaborate and build a better software. As like GitHub, registering in GitLab and creating a repo is very easy. To know much about the GitLab or the difference between the GitLab and GitHub, I will post a separate video for this. We'll get into the video. Like this diagram shows how we can use event-driven architecture with a custom storage that is associated with the third-party Git repository that is not associated with the code pipeline natively. For our use case, we use GitLab. You can use any Git repository that supports the Git webhooks. Let's see into the architecture diagram. The architecture diagram includes the following step. Like from the right hand side, if you see, the user commits a code to the Git repository, and that commit invokes a Git webhook, and this Git webhook will invokes a code pipeline. So what we'll do is like the code pipeline, the source stage will be put into the in progress status, and if the code pipeline status gets changed, it means it will trigger a CloudWatch event. So that indicates that stages get started. And in the fifth stage, like once the CloudWatch event get executed, right, it will start executing the Lambda function, or it will trigger the Lambda function. What this Lambda function will do is like it will polls for the job details of the custom action. So it will get the details of the code pipeline and what are some specific details it will get, and then it will trigger internally or it will call the code build. So what this code build will do is like it will get the public access key or SSH key of our GitLab or the username password of our GitLab. It will be stored in the secret managers, and once it get from there, and it will start to clone the repository for the particular branch, and what it will do is like it will push the artifact to the S3, and then it will send the signal to the again back to the custom source stage, and it will make it as succeeded. And from them, the next step onwards, it will take the code from the artifact like S3, and it will proceed to the next stage. So this is a architecture diagram of event driven. So in the next slide, this is a simple diagram what I explained in the previous one. Like in the previous, if you are getting more complicated, this is a simple one. So a Git user will be pushing their code to the Git repository. It may be any Git repository, and through the webhook they will be calling the code pipeline, and when the code pipeline is get executed, it will trigger the Lambda through CloudWatch event, and the Lambda what it will do is like it will internally call some Lambda function, or through the code build it will pull the code from the repository like GitLab and push it to the artifact S3, and from the next stage onwards it will take the code from the artifact. That's it. So I will show you the demo like how they will be doing with the help of CloudFormation. To set up a function, we need to complete few steps. Let's see. So I have included everything in a makefile in my Git repository, so you can make use of this. So what I did is like I have written a Lambda function. What it will do is like we'll see the Lambda function what it will do. As I said, right, the Lambda function will the Lambda function is written in Python, and it is using Boto 3 framework, which is specifically for the AWS services, and it will poll for the job. And once it poll for the job, what it will do is like it will get the information, and internally it will call the code build. In the code build, once it is executed, means it will be cloning the code and it will pushing to the artifact. Let's see. So the first step is like I need to create a bucket, and I need to push this code to the bucket, and then I have to map this bucket to the Lambda. Let's see how it will be doing. Everything I have the steps. So what I am doing is like I will be creating a bucket. So just make use of make create bucket, and before that I will explain you like here what is the issue we have. I explained in the last video itself. See here, if you are creating create pipeline, just giving test. In the next, the service provider, you can't able to see the GitLab. You have code commit, ECR, S3, Bitbucket, GitHub version 1, version 2, enterprise server. So the difference between version 1 and version 2 is like version 1 will make use of OAuth connectivity, and GitHub version 2 will make use of GitHub apps connectivity. I hope the GitHub version 1 will not be longer recommended. We'll have to use GitHub version 2. Let's see now how to make. We need to create a custom action over here with the GitLab. Let's see. Before that, I'll be creating a bucket and I'll be pushing it to my repository, my code to the bucket. Make create bucket. I'm just calling this create bucket. That's it. A bucket is completed, and if I go over here, you can able to see my bucket. Yeah, see, this is a bucket which I have created now, February 6 code pipeline git custom action, and I need to zip my code and I need to push it to the S3 bucket, or copy my contents to the S3 bucket. So for zipping the code, I just have already 7-zip installed in my system. I'm just making this command, make zip code. So it will be zipping this code, Lambda code, and then I need to upload it to code S3. So what it will do is like it will be copying the zip file, like content of the zip file. In the zip file, it has a Lambda function, and it will copying into my bucket which I have created now. So what I'm doing is like I'm just calling this function, make upload code to S3. So once it is done, means if you are going and see here my Lambda function which is zipped format is there in my bucket. Now let's see what we'll be doing. Okay, now as I said, right, the code build will clone the code of my GitLab. So how it can be do? Whether it will be like two ways, like we can have our access key, our ID and password inside the secret manager, or we need to create a SSH key format. So I'll be going with SSH key format, and for this demo I have already created. And to create this, you can just call this function like generate SSH key. So based on your mail ID, it will create these 3 types of file, like public key and RSA key. It will be created. And now what we'll do is like we need to publish the key to the secret manager. So what I have to do is like I want to publish this key to the secret manager. Let's see, go and see secret manager. I don't have any key. This is my GitHub token, and I want to store the SSH key of my GitLab over here, and I have everything here like create secret. So the create secret, I'll be naming it with a different name, code pipeline -fib6, and saving it and creating the secret. So what it'll do is like it will creating a secret, and it will getting the contents of RSA. So inside this RSA, it will be stored over here. It's a private key. Now I am making use of it. Make create secret, and secret will get stored over there. If I refresh it, see here my secret will stored over here. And also I need to copy this ARN. It will be useful in future because I need to pass it to the CloudFormation. So I am pasting it over here. Control V, Control S. And then I want to create a custom resource. I will go through this code piece bit later because I want to execute this function little bit here because it will take nearly 3 to 5 minutes. So I am running this function CloudFormation. Let's see what will happen. Make create custom resource. That's it. It will start executing the Lambda function. It will start executing CloudFormation. Yeah, in the CloudFormation, let's see. Yeah, it is there. Third-party code pipeline git source. It start executing. Let's see. Before that, what we will do is like we will go through this step-by-step process. What it's happening. So what are the steps I did is like I created my S3 bucket and zipped my Lambda function and uploaded my code to the S3, and then I generated a SSH key to this SSH key generation, and I stored my private key inside the secret manager through this way. And what we have to do is public key. This public key should be added in a GitLab. So what I have to do is, like, in our GitLab, inside the preferences, there will be SSH key. So you need to add your key over here. I already added for this demo. Here there's a code pipeline will be there, which is already added. If you want, you can just copy that one and you can add it over here, the key, the public key. That's it. And our next step is, like, I executed the create custom resource. So this is the CloudFormation which will create the custom resource. Custom means is a kind of customization. We are making the customization for executing the GitLab. That's it. And for this one, we need the stack. We need VPC and subnet and all. So if you don't have VPC and subnet, you don't need to worry about it. You just call this stack, like make create VPC. It will execute and create your VPC and subnet ID and all. Now let's go get into our create custom resources. So what we'll do is, like, it will call this third party git custom action inside the CFN folder. Now see what will happen and what is contents will have. So it doesn't have nothing much. Let's see. The parameters and all will be passing it over here, and this is code build. As I said, right, my Lambda will call this code build only. Let's see what is a piece of code over here, and I added a code here itself, like the build spec itself. It won't do nothing much. Like, see here, it will be getting my private key from my secret manager, and then it is cloning my code and cloning my code from my git URL. This git URL and branch will be passing from the UI, or it will be get passed from my Lambda, and it will be pushed my code into the artifacts, which is my S3. That's it. So this is the code build we'll be doing over here. I'm just closing it. And the service role, basically the code build, the role it should have. And the next one is, like, policy, like what are the manager policy it should have. Again, the endpoint policy, what it should have for my code build. Now let's see here. This is the most critical point over here. If you note it down in the code pipeline CloudFormation, there will be a concept of code pipeline, but not this one custom action type. This is a specific one we have they have introduced for creating a custom action type. For example, for the custom action means if you want to get some information like git URL, branch, and a different kind of name like SSH key or somewhat, means we can add it over here like a kind of customization. Here, what are the information I got it, like branch name, git URL, pipeline name, and SSH key secret key name. So these are the information I have got, and I have created with the custom source action. That's it, code pipeline. And this is my Lambda function, and in this Lambda function I have mapped my code from my S3 bucket and the key. So this is the bucket and the key which I initially created and uploaded my Python function over there. And next one is like Lambda execution role. So for my Lambda I need this role, and this one is like a Lambda permission. So this is basically a CloudWatch event rule. CloudWatch event we are getting over here because when the code pipeline is getting started means it should trigger the Lambda. So that kind of connectivity will be happening over here. See here, this is a place the events rule will be there, and here we are giving like this, like when my code pipeline is getting started means we need to trigger the Lambda. This is my Lambda code pipeline custom action function .arn. See here, this is my Lambda, and it will get triggered, and once it triggered means it will internally call my code pipeline and code build, and it will pull the data, and inside the code build it will clone my code and push it to the artifact. That's it. And again, the security group we need to be added, like what is the port we need to do and all. So these are the basic things. And the KMS key, basically I need to encrypt my bucket and all, so I will be using KMS key. So this is basically this piece of code will be there. Let's go and see over there whether my stack is getting completed or not. Here it is just creating in progress. Let's see what will happen over here. And in the event section it is getting created. Let's wait for another couple of minutes over here, and in between let's go and see like what is other kind of stack we'll be having. And once it is done means what we have to do is like we need to test our pipeline, right? So how we can test? There are two ways. You can go and create in console, otherwise I have already a sample template over here. That's it. You need to make a call of it. So we can you can just call make create pipeline. Let's see what will happen. Make create pipeline. Before that, let's see whether it is getting completed or not. I don't know. Okay, it's not executing, and let's see what this pipeline will have. So it will call this sample pipeline custom.yaml, and again going over here, and these are the parameters, and again same thing. We'll see the code build role. So what is my code build will do? Again for the role I will be adding the IAM manager policy, and this is the code build in my project. So in my pipeline I will be having the build stage. So here I didn't do much thing, like in the build spec I just installed, I have the runtime Python version and just give the command ls-al, that's it. So it will list all the files over there. And then pipeline role, again basically for the pipeline it should create over there. Let's see whether it is getting executed or not. I think it is taking time. Let's see. Okay, the custom function permission getting executed. Yeah, I think it's create complete. Now let's see in the code pipeline. So in the create pipeline, now if you are going and seeing here means just like previous, I'm just going clicking on creating a pipeline like test. I think it's not getting refreshed. I'm just refreshing the screen. Again, I'm giving the name test. In the next service provider, see here in the start of the video, the same thing I did, but there is no custom source for Git. Now I have created a custom source, and it's a kind of plugin I added, and it is now available for to use. So it's a kind of version 1, and these are the customized parameters I want to use it for my pipeline. So this is a branch and Git URL, pipeline name, necessary secret key name. So we can make use of this, or you can make use of CloudFormation CDK. Now let's see what will happen. Just I want to create a pipeline. There is no pipeline over here. Now let's see, I want to create a pipeline. Once it's executed, let's see the code walkthrough. Yeah, see here, this is the create in progress of my another CloudFormation. Let's see here in the CloudFormation. As I said, right, the code build role and code build policy and the code build. This is the build stage of my project. Okay, and here I didn't do much thing over here. I just given the command ls-al. That's it. It will list all the file contents. And this is the pipeline role again we need to give, and the pipeline policy again same thing, like what you have to do is like you need to be more precise on that. And this is the pipeline, code pipeline, and artifact bucket. So it should be creating artifact bucket, like where it need to store the code over there. Let's see, I think it will create one more bucket. Yeah, this is the bucket it created, like February 6. Now what I am doing is like I just copy the ARN and I want to give some access. So for that what I'm going to do is like I'll be giving the permission section, because I need to give the bucket policy over here. I'm just adding it over there. And if you don't know like what you need to do, there's a policy generator which is readily available in our AWS. So I'm just clicking over there and I'm choosing S3 bucket policy. As of now, I'll be giving everything like principal and all actions and all. And you should be more precise on this. And I'm just clicking generate policy, closing it, and I'm adding it over here, Control V. And for the resource, I'm just copying the ARN of my bucket. Here I'm adding the bucket, and it should have access to inside the bucket. I'm adding it, that's it. Oh, sorry, I added in the principal. Okay, in the resource we need to give, sorry. Okay, I have added over here and just clicking save changes. Now let's see whether it gets succeeded or not. I think it's in progress. Now let's go back and see in our CloudFormation template like what it has. Okay, so this is my bucket which got created to store the contents of my GitLab repo. So this is the bucket which has created. If you want to be more precise, like you can give the bucket name. Otherwise, if you let it be, that means it will get some automatic name based on your CloudFormation template and all. And these are the roles. So in the source stage, I'll be linking our custom source stage action. So this is the name, source action version, and provider I have just given over here. And these are the configurations. I just paused it over here. In the UI, you can be able to see, right, the branch, Git URL, pipeline, SSH, key secret name. So these are the values I have given. And in the build stage, this is the code build, and this is the project name, reference of code build. So this will call my code build over here, which I created at the top, this one, the code build. And it will have only the list of all the file content over there, and that's it. And over here, that's it. This is the code pipeline, and I'm calling the webhook because through the webhook only it has to execute my pipeline. So I'm creating a webhook for this. And then this is the bucket I created. Again, the KMS key to encrypt my data inside the S3 bucket. So that's it. Let's see whether it is got executed or not. Yeah, it's get completed. Now if you go over there and in the output section, you can be able to see the webhook. I'm just copying this webhook. Just copying this webhook. Let's see in the code pipeline. I think if you refresh it, there is a code pipeline. Yeah, it is in progress. So now what we'll do is like it is triggering my Lambda and also like code build. Let's see the code build. Yeah, the code build. This is the one of the code build. What it will do is like it will pull the code from my GitLab and it will be pushing into my, or it will be moving the code into S3. Let's see over here what will happening. Yeah, it is in progress. It is taking a little bit of time. Let's see what will happen. And in meanwhile, what I am doing is like I need to add this webhook in my repository, right? So here what I'm going is like this is my repository in GitLab CDK demo, and inside the settings webhooks, I'm just adding it over here. And here I'm just giving the URL output of the CloudFormation template, and I'm giving them like fib6 demo. That's it. And what are the trigger indicative, like push event I need to have, and what are the command you need, you can have it over there, like whatever it may be. And enable SSL verification should be enabled, like I'm just clicking add webhook. So the webhook has been created. Now if there is any push in this repo means it will trigger my code pipeline, and the code pipeline execute means it will call my Lambda, and the Lambda internally called by code build, and the code build will pull the code from the GitLab and push it to my artifactory. That's it. From the artifact it can be used for the next stage. Let's see what will happen. It is in progress. Let's see what is happening over here. I will refresh the whole page. Let's see. Yeah, it is trying to execute this container. Let's wait for 1 more minute. It will take only like less than 1 to 2 minutes only to run this code, or maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that. We'll see whether it is able to pull the code from my S3 or not GitLab or not, and able to copy into my S3. Let's see the page details. The code pipeline is getting executed for long. If you are having any issues means you can, if you want to search, you can go for the CloudWatch and you can able to see the logs, like what it's happening over there. Let's see the CloudWatch logs over there, like what is happening in the log groups. You can able to see this is the code builder, right? And I can able to get to know the code build F8. It ends with yeah, I think it succeeded. Yeah, see here. And what it will do is like it will get as I showed in the diagram, right? It will be getting a secret value which is my public key, and it will be a private key from my secret manager, and it is setting the profile of SSH over here, and they are cloning the files, and here it is cloning the files. Git clone, the command will be running over here, cloning my repository git clone, and the branch I have given in the CloudFormation running itself. And these are the file it will have, like these are the file in my GitLab repo, and it will be pushed into my bucket. So in this bucket, this is my bucket, right? Now if you refresh it over here, you can able to see the bucket. See here, this is my code, what will have it over here, and it is artifact, and it will push it to the next stage. And once it refresh it here, see here build gets succeeded. So by this way you can able to test it. Now if you are trying to push my code from the GitLab bins, again it will trigger through the webhook, and the Lambda will get execute. In the Lambda, this code build will try to call this. The code build will pull the code from GitLab and push it to my S3, and from the next stage onwards it will try to pull the you try to use the code from my S3 artifact itself. So by this way you can able to integrate the other third-party Git repositories. So whichever the Git repository that make use of webhook, you can able to make use of this custom source action. So in this video we have seen how to integrate GitLab with AWS Code Pipeline. It is one of the options for the GitLab to integrate with the Aws Code Pipeline. But many organizations make use of CI functionality, which is available as a built-in feature in GitLab as a GitHub Actions in GitHub. We'll see more on the GitLab CI in the upcoming videos for how to make use of GitLab CI and how to trigger a build and deploy through it. This implementation has been done through CloudFormation and it is available in my GitHub repo. And the same has been implemented in CDK and also it is available over there. If you have any doubts on implementing this, kindly add it in the comment section or reach out to me in any of the social media platforms. I'll be happy to help you on this. Thanks friends. Bye.